And when we set men up to think that gender diversity, equity, inclusion is about women and only women, well, first of all, we're ignoring the fact that men have a gender too, and that to be a part of this conversation and to benefit from its efforts does not require you to be a woman nor to be an expert on women's issues. And when we close the circle so tightly around those in non-dominant groups as some held simultaneously the sole sufferers of the issues and the sole architects and beneficiaries of the solutions, we set men up to say, well, if it's not about me, by me, or for me, then why exactly is it that I should care? If we set men up as a source of the problem, then of course many will be fearful to step in and put themselves on the line. Our societies draw such a narrow box around acceptable masculine behaviors and write a script for what it means to be a man that, if not followed, results in harsh policing behaviors from other men and the greater world that hammers in the messaging that all things supposedly feminine, when displayed by men, are bad. So, of course, some men are afraid of the judgment of other men if they advocate for gender equity, which, remember, we've set up as a women's thing. And unfortunately, this policing behavior is not just reserved for individuals. As much as our leadership norms in the corporate world have been shaped by and are often a reflection of masculine norms, our organizational cultures also are often manifestations of these same norms. I recently co-authored a market research report at Catalyst, and in it we found that 86% of men say they are committed to speaking up to interrupt sexism. 86%. But only 31%, less than a third, are confident in their ability to do so. And a major factor behind this dynamic? Climates of silence. Environments that make speaking up risky both personally and professionally, where courageous interruption is viewed as unwelcome disruption. So, how do we break through this? I've said before in talking about Mark and the real change we are trying to achieve that it comes across both in bold sweeping measures and humble everyday actions. I truly believe this to be true. At Catalyst, our model for inclusive leadership is framed around the dual-pronged approach of leading inward and leading outward. At Mark, we believe gender partnership must work in this way too. We must look around and demand change where it's needed, unpacking root causes and tackling systemic issues. We must hold our leaders to account. We must work to strip bias from our systems and inequity from our processes. But we must also look inside. You must acknowledge and embrace that although we may not have created the problem, although we may not even see ourselves as part of the problem, we can nevertheless still choose to accept responsibility for addressing it. We must hold ourselves to account. We must do our own work.